Okay, so dear students, so today our topic is blood circulation. So in our body, so various channels are there, various circulations are there. So they are helpful for the transmissions of the blood from one part to the another part of the body. Among those importance are that is a systemic circulation. It is one of the greatest circulations and longer circulations. It is helpful for the circulations of the blood throughout the body. That was known as the systemic circulation. It is begin from the heart and end to the heart itself. Okay, that is the systemic circulations. So, with the help of the arteries, arterioles, capillaries, vanules, veins, so that blood can circulate, that is oxygenated blood, from heart to the different parts of the body and organs and collected deoxygenated blood from organ and supplied to the heart for oxygenation process or for pumping process. So that was known as the systemic circulations. It where the blood can travel for the longer distance. And second one is the pulmonary circulation. It is the most important circulation for oxygenation process or purification process. So the blood from the heart, especially the right ventricle, and enters to the lungs, and where the blood can loses carbon dioxide, it can gains the oxygen, then oxygenated blood return to the heart. So that the exchange between heart and lungs, so that was known as the pulmonary circulation. Third one is the hepatic portal circulation, that is the exchange of the blood between liver and certain GIT organ, and that of with the systemic circulations or heart. So that was known as the hepatic portal circulation. And hepatic portal circulations, it was play important role in the to supply of the digested product or digested food from GIT to the liver for formations of new product for energy purpose or many other purpose. So what is the food? So that was digested in the GIT. So that was entered to the liver. From the liver that was entered towards the heart. Then systemic circulation. That was through a that is hepatic portal circulation. So that's why the hepatic that is a portal circulations, it was play important role in the recirculations of the nutritions from GI to the different parts of the body. So next one is the fetal circulation, that is the circulations of the blood between mother and fetus. Okay, that is a circulation or supply of oxygen between pregnant woman, that is the mother, and the fetus. So that circulation was known as the fetal circulation. Fetal circulations play important role in the, that is the growth of the fetus or the growth of the womb, that was mainly depending upon the fetal circulation. So next, the last one, that is the coronary circulation. So this circulation is also most important because this circulation is existed within the heart itself, because heart is also organ, it is also required nutrition, it is also required oxygen. So that can got by the myocardium with the help of the coronary circulation. So that's why, so in our body, so these are the main five type of blood circulation. So they are helpful for transport of the blood or transport of the oxygen along with the nutrition from one part to the another part of the body. Okay, so next one we learn regarding the double circulation. Double circulation nothing but it is a combination of systemic circulation and pulmonary circulations. It means the transmission, transport of the blood from one part of body to another part along with the lungs for oxygenation process. So that's why it consists of two circulation. One is systemic circulation, exchange of the blood between heart and organs, and another is the pulmonary circulation, that is the exchange of the blood between heart and lungs for purpose of the oxygenations, okay, or purification of blood. So that's why the systemic combination of systemic and pulmonary circulation is known as a double circulations. So regarding the first, that is the systemic circulation. So as you know, so our right atrium, it is the main part or first part of the heart or chamber. It can collect the deoxygenated blood. So with the help of the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava, it is a larger vein, as well as inferior vena cava, it is also the larger vein. The superior vena cava, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from upper part of the body. So with the help of the jugular vein and the brachial vein. So jugular vein, it is present in the neck. So it can collect deoxygenated blood, that is impure blood, from brain and supply to the or drain or deposit to the superior vena cava, as well as brachial vein. So they are collect the deoxygenated blood from the our hands. Okay, so from the hands, the deoxygenated blood then drained to the superior vena cava. So that is the role of the brachial vein. Then the superior vena cava, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from upper part of the body and drain or deposit it to the right atrium. So like that, the inferior vena cava, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from lower part of the body with the help of the certain veins, like hepatic vein collect deoxygenated blood from the liver. Then femoral vein, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the leg. Then iliac vein, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the large intestine. Then renal vein, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the kidney or renal. Splenic vein, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the vein. So like that, the different veins are there. So these are among important ones are there. So different veins are there. So they collect the deoxygenated blood, that is impure blood, from different part of the body. So they are supplied to the superior vena cava from upper part of the body, and inferior vena cava from lower of the part of the body, both superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. So these are the larger vein, so they can drain the blood to the right atrium. So the right atrium, it is the chamber of the heart, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the right atrium. So that deoxygenated blood enters to the right ventricles. Okay, so through passing through a wall that was known as the tricuspid valve. So tricuspid valve is the gate between right atrium and right ventricle. So like that, the deoxygenated blood, so that was enter from right atrium to the right ventricle through a tricuspid valve. And already you know the pressure of the right atrium. The pressure of the right atrium is 5 to 6 mmHg. So due to depositions of blood in the right atrium with the help of superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, so that pressure in the right atrium was increases, that is 5 to 6 mmHg. So this pressure was responsible for opening of the tricuspid valve. So then only the blood can enter, that is right atrium to the right ventricle, due to opening of the tricuspid valve. And the right atrium pressure, already you know, regarding the pressure of the right atrium is 25 mmHg. Okay, due to depositions of blood or entry of blood from right atrium to the right ventricle, that pressure was increases about 25 mmHg. So that pressure was responsible for opening of the another wall that was known as the pulmonary semilunar wall. So this wall, it can allows the entry of deoxygenated blood from right ventricle to the pulmonary artery. So like that, the deoxygenated blood is enter in the pulmonary artery by passing through a pulmonary semilunar wall from the right ventricle. So here only the arteries are there in the body, because all arteries, so they carries the oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So those are present in the heart. So these pulmonary artery, so they can carries the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the respective lungs, because further the pulmonary arteries, so they branched into right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. Left pulmonary artery inverted to the left lungs and right pulmonary artery inverted to the right lungs. So like that, the blood can enter to the respective lungs where the oxygenation process can take place according to the partial pressure of the oxygen in the blood and in the alveoli. Alveoli are the air sacs. So those where the oxygen exchange was taken place. So water alveoli is containing the high pressure of oxygen, and water blood which can vegetate to the alveoli, so that will be having the less pressure. Okay, so due to less partial pressure, the exchange is taking place. So where the blood can loses the carbon dioxide and gain the oxygen. So that oxygenated blood from the lungs carried by the pulmonary veins, that is the respective, that is the right and as well as the left. Right pulmonary veins carries oxygenated blood from the right lungs, and left pulmonary veins they carries the oxygenated, that is pure blood from the left lung. So here the only veins are there. So these veins they carries the oxygenated blood, but remaining veins, so they always carries the deoxygenated blood. So like that, the pure blood, so that can deposited into the left atrium, or oxygenated blood, so that was deposited drain into the left atrium with the help of the pulmonary veins, that is the right and as well as left. So that oxygenated blood can came from the lungs. Okay, so this is the exchange between the blood, that is the right ventricle to the left atrium by passing through a lungs, that was known as the pulmonary circulations. In the pulmonary circulation, it is important for oxygenation process. In the pulmonary circulations, it can begins from the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, blood can enter to the pulmonary artery by passing through the pulmonary semilunar wall, then enter into the lungs respective. In the lungs, the oxygenation process occurs, so that oxygenated pure blood is drained to the left atrium with the help of the right and left pulmonary veins. So exchange of the blood between heart and lungs is known as a pulmonary circulations. So next, from the right atrium, there is oxygenated blood is entered to the left ventricle by passing through a bicuspid valve. So that should be the oxygenated blood from the left ventricle, so that blood can reaches to the aorta. Okay, so this bicuspid valve will be open. So when the pressure in the left atrium, that should be reaches 7 to 8 mm Sg, it reaches, then it can responsible to cause opening of the bicuspid valve. So then only it can allow the entry of blood from left atrium to the left ventricles. So then the blood can deposit in the left ventricle. So to depositions of blood, so that pressure was reaches around 130 mm Sg. Then that blood can enter to the aorta by opening of the aortic semilunar wall. So once the left ventricle is contracted, means around 70 ml of blood, so that can reaches to the aorta. So this 70 ml is known as a stroke volume, and stroke volume in the throughout the worldwide, it is the constant. Every one person they having the heart, if their contact the left ventricle, means about only 70 ml of the blood, so that can reaches to the aorta. And the capacity of the left ventricle is around, that is nearly 130 ml approximately. It means the 60 ml of blood will be left in the left ventricle after contractions. Okay, so that can enter into the aorta from the left ventricle by when the pressure was reaches 130 mm Sg. Then it causes the opening of aortic semilunar wall. So then the blood is entered to the aorta from the left ventricle. So that was the 70 ml. So that was known as the stroke volume. It is the fix. Okay, and our cardiac output is around 5 liter per minute, and per beat only the 70 ml of blood can enter into the aorta. So from the aorta, so that oxygenated blood enters in the arteries. Once again, so various arteries are there. So they are originated from the aorta or after the aorta. So those are, that is thoracic aorta, carotid artery, brachial artery, abdominal aorta, that is hepatic artery, femoral artery, iliac artery, renal artery, splenic artery. So these are the respective organ artery. So the in upper part, so these organ artery, so they are origin begins from the abdominal aorta. Further, the aorta is divided into two part, are different in two part. There is the abdominal aorta present in the abdominal cavity, and thoracic aorta, it is was present in the thoracic cavity. And thoracic aorta responsible for supply of the oxygenated blood to the upper part of the body with the help of the carotid artery. So these carotid artery carries oxygenated blood to the brain. Then brachial artery, so these carries oxygenated blood from thoracic artery to the different part of the our hand. And the abdominal aorta, it is present in the abdominal cavity, and from the abdominal aorta various arteries can be arises, like hepatic artery supply oxygenated blood to the liver, then femoral artery supply oxygenated blood to the legs, then iliac artery supply oxygenated blood to the that is the ileum or intestines. Then renal artery supply oxygen blood to the, that is the kidney, or in like the splenic artery. So like that, the different arteries, so they are begins from the respective aorta, that is the thoracic aorta as well as the abdominal aorta, then begins to the enters to the organ. And further the arterioles, so they are branched into or differentiated into capillaries, and capillaries are responsible for the exchange of the nutrition along with the oxygen to the metabolic cell. And from the capillaries, the deoxygenated blood can collected, then that can supply to the venules, then venules differentiate to vein joined together, then the veins, they are supplied to the superior vena cava. So like that, the blood can be circulated in our body. So like that, with the help of the veins, arteries and capillaries, it can start from the right atrium. So right atrium collect blood from the supravena cava, inferior cava with the help of the veins, then enter into the right ventricle through a passing through a tricuspid valve, then enter into pulmonary artery by passing through pulmonary seminal wall, and enter into lungs where oxygen push occurs. From the lungs enter into the left atrium pure blood through a pulmonary veins, right and left. Then left atrium to pure blood enter into the left ventricle with the by passing through the bicuspid valve. Then left ventricle to the blood can enter in the aorta by passing through the aortic seminal wall. Then aorta to arteries, arteries to capillaries, then deoxygenated blood enter the veins. So this was known as the systemic circulation, the exchange of the blood between heart and organs with the help of the arteries, capillaries, veins and different chamber of the heart. So that circulation was known as the systemic circulation. It consists of both pulmonary circulation as well as systemic circulation. So that's why sometimes it is also known as a double circulation. So that was helpful for the transmissions of the oxygenated blood from one part of the body to another part of the body, and as well as removal of the waste material, removal of the carbon dioxide from cell of the organ towards the excretory organs. That is the main applications of the systemic circulations are double circulations, and pulmonary it is only helpful for the oxygenation process. So next one, so regarding the coronary circulation, the coronary circulations belong to the circulations of the blood, okay, within the myocardium, within the walls of the heart, because heart is also one organ. It is also required the pure blood for pumping purpose or functioning purpose, so that can guard by one circulation. So that circulation was known as a coronary circulations. Okay, so the coronary circulation, it can begin or start from the aorta. Okay, so from the aorta it can branch into, that is coronary artery, there is a right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. So from the aorta, so the aorta can branch into or differentiate into two parts, that is the right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. So right coronary artery responsible for to supply the oxygenated blood to the right ventricle, right atrium, inferior third of the intraventricular septum, and as well as the left coronary artery supply oxygenated blood to the left ventricle, left atrium, anterior superior two-thirds of the interventricular septum. Okay, so these both artery, they supply the oxygen blood to the different parts of the myocardium or heart. And further, the right coronary artery, it can differentiated into right marginal artery, posterior IV artery, then AV nodal artery, and as well as SA nodal artery. So further, it can branched into a small arterioles. So those are known as the SA nodal artery, then right marginal artery, then posterior IV for artery, then AV nodal artery. So here the SA nodal artery, it can supply oxygenated blood to the muscles or myocardium around the sinoatrial node and surrounding myocardium. So whatever the myocardium is there, so that can surround by the sinoatrial node. For them, the oxygenated blood was supplied by the SA nodal artery. And regarding the right marginal artery, it can supply the oxygenated blood to the myocardium or muscles of the right ventricles. So regarding the posterior fore artery, it can supply the oxygen blood to the right ventricle, left ventricle, intraventricular septums. Okay, so that is the role of the posterior, that is fore or intraventricular artery. It was supply blood to the right ventricular, left ventricle, intraventricular septum. And regarding the AV nodal artery, it can supply the oxygen blood to the myocardiums or cell regarding those are present in the atrioventricular node, then surrounding myocardium. So regarding left coronary artery, it is also branched into circumflex artery, supplied to the oxygenated blood to the posterior surface of left ventricular, then anterior intraventricular artery or anterior fore artery. It can supply, that is the oxygenated blood to the right ventricle, then left ventricle, then intraventricular septum. And further, circumflex artery, it can differentiate into left marginal artery and SA nodal artery. The 40% of oxygenated blood can carried by sinoatrial node and surrounding myocardium with the help of the SA nodal artery, and remaining 60% that can carried by the SA nodal artery in the through that can branched by a right coronary artery. And left marginal artery, it can supply oxygen blood to the left ventricle. Then these cells of the different parts of the organ, so they are utilized the oxygen and involved in the normal functioning of the heart. During utilization of oxygen, so they are produces the carbon dioxide, so that deoxygenated blood can carried by the different veins. So those are origin or begins in the myocardium. So those are the small cardiac vein, middle cardiac vein, and as well as that is the great cardiac vein. So great cardiac vein, it can carries the oxygenated blood from the anterior part of the heart, and middle cardiac vein, it can carries the collect the deoxygenated blood from the posterior part of the heart, and small cardiac vein, it can carry the blood from the remaining parts of the myocardium or heart, and all deoxygenated blood, so they can drain to the coronary sinus or coronary vein. So that was known as the coronary sinus. And coronary sinus, it can deposit the deoxygenated blood from the myocardium or from the wall of the heart into the right atrium. And coronary sinus, it can opens in near to the tricuspid valve, just side to the tricuspid valve, just above the tricuspid valve. That is the opening of the coronary sinus that can supply deoxygenated blood or drain the deoxygenated blood from different part of the myocardium or heart. So that deoxygenated blood is supplied to the right atrium, and this exchange of the blood between different parts of the body of the myocardium and that of with the aorta is known as a coronary circulations. And coronary circulations, it play important role in the supply of the oxygen blood to the cardiac cell and removal of the waste material along with the carbon dioxide from the cardiac cells. It means it is important for the normal functioning of the our heart. If any block in the left coronary artery and right coronary artery, it can create the problem in the supply of. So due to that reason, the heart rate, the blood pressure was increases. So that was known as the blockage in the blood vessels. You already heard that name. Certain blood vessels are blockage in the heart. So those nothing but there is a blockage in the right coronary artery or left coronary artery. Those supply oxygenated blood to the myocardium. So next one. So regarding the hepatic portal circulation, that is circulations between or exchange of the blood between heart and liver and that of with the organs of the GIT. So dear students here, so they are the two veins. So that is the splenic vein and superior mesenteric vein. So these are collect the deoxygenated blood from different part of the GIT that containing rich of digested food like glucose, amino acids, free fatty acids. So these are the byproduct digestions of carbohydrates, fats and protein. So that was supplied to the liver. So with the help of the superior mesenteric vein and splenic vein. Superior mesenteric vein, it can collect the deoxygenated blood from the small intestine, large intestine, stomach and pancreas along with the nutritions. And regarding splenic vein, it can correct the deoxygenated blood from the large intestine, stomach as well as pancreas. And these blood consist of deoxygenated blood along with the rich of digested food in the GIT. So that was supplied to the portal vein or hepatic portal vein. Okay, so these both vein, so they drain the blood to the hepatic portal vein. Then the hepatic portal vein, so they carries that blood along with the nutrition supplied to the liver. And liver utilize those nutrition and involved in synthesis of the new product that was required for the development of the body. From the liver, so that deoxygenated blood along with nutrition along with formations of new product from the liver, so those all whatever the food formed in liver, that is also carried by the so this hepatic vein and drained to the inferior vena cava along with various rich of the nutrition from the inferior vena cava, so that enters into the heart or systemic circulation. From that can enter the abdominal aorta, then abdominal aorta to the proper hepatic artery, that is it is a systemic circulation, then enter into the liver. So like that, the exchange between different parts of the GIT along with liver and heart, that was known as the hepatic portal circulation. And hepatic portal circulations play important role in the exchange of the food or supply the micronutrition from GIT to the different parts of the body with the help of the hepatic portal vein and systemic circulation. This circulation was known as a hepatic portal circulation. It is required for to supply of the nutrition along with the oxygenated blood and removal of the waste material from the liver and as well as wall of the GIT along with pancreas and stomach. So next one is the fetal circulation. It is also most important. It was helpful for exchange of the blood along with the nutrition from mother blood to the womb. So that was known as the fetal circulations. So as you know, so placenta, it is one of the blood vessels. It was play important role in the to carries the blood from mother to and supplied to the fetus. So these are the umbilical veins. So these placenta it can connected with the systemic circulations of the mother. Okay, so from the placenta the umbilical veins originates and begins, and they carries the oxygenated blood from the mother systemic circulation. Then oxygenated blood supplied to the ductus venous, and from the ductus venous, so that blood can reaches to the inferior vena cava. In same side the umbilical vein, so they supply the oxygenated blood from the mother or from the placenta along with the rich of micronutrition to the liver. So liver of the womb utilize these micronutrition and involved in the synthesis of the new product. That product was required for the development of the, so that womb or that fetus. And from the liver that finished product, so they are enter into the inferior vena cava. Okay, and from the inferior vena cava, so that blood it is the one type of the mixed type of blood containing both oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. So that's why it was known as the mixed type of blood. So that was from the inferior vena cava, so that was enter into the right atrium. From the right atrium, so that blood directly enter into the left atrium in the womb itself, only in the fetus. But in the after birth, so there is no connection or direct entry of the blood can be allowed from right atrium to the left atrium, only in the womb in the fetus. So one hole is present between the right atrium and the left atrium, so that hole was known as the foramen ovale. It is just present between the right atrium and left atrium in the womb only. Okay, so after childbirth, so after exposure to the environmental temperature in the child, the prostaglandin synthesis is increases. Okay, so this prostaglandin not increases, so it was decreases after the birth. So due to decrease the prostaglandin in the myocardium or in the between the right atrium and left atrium, so that foramen ovale was closed. Okay, if it was open means then the hole is present in the heart itself after the growth, also after the become the adults, also after the age is going on. Already you heard, so some children are there, so when they are running or they are playing, they feeling the fatigues, then their parents are told to teachers, so my son is having some hole in the heart, so they need to surgery. So already heard, you already heard this sentence, okay, many times. That hole is present in the birth itself, every one person we are also having. Okay, so in the womb, so that hole is present between the right atrium and left atrium, so that was known as the foramen ovale or ductus arteriosus. So that is known as the ductus arteriosus. So that was open due to prostaglandins. Okay, prostaglandin is more during the pregnancy, so that can allows the opening of foramen ovale. So after birth, so due to change of environment or temperature, so that prostaglandin synthesis was decreases in the that children. Due to that, it was decreased in the heart, then it can close the foramen ovale. If it was not closed, then so that hole is remain in that particular child heart. So that was known as the ductus arteriosus disease or hole is present in the heart. But naturally, so that was closed after the birth or exposure to the room temperature. Okay, so due to presence of this hole or foramen ovale, from right atrium directly blood enter into left atrium. From the left atrium, it can enter in the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, the blood can enter in the aorta. From the aorta, the blood can enter into the systemic circulation, then enter into the inferior vena cava, or with the help of umbilical artery, it can enter into placenta. From the placenta, it can enter toward the mother circulations. And from the right atrium, so that blood can enter into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, they can enter into the pulmonary trunk towards the lung, but the lungs cannot be work. Okay, in the womb, the lungs look like a sponge. They do not involved in any respirations, any oxygen process. After birth only, lungs can start to work. Okay, after immediately the womb can enter outside the temperature, the sponge of the lungs become the lungs. or balloons like, then only they can start to work. Okay, so then lungs, from the lungs wall that can blood can enter into the pulmonary vein, from the pulmonary vein so that can blood enter the left atrium, then left ventricle, then aorta, then systemic circulation, then into the flush. So like that the blood can circulate in the between the mother and womb. So that was helpful for the transport of the nutrition along with the oxygen throughout the womb, that was required for the development of the body. So that was known as the fetal circulation. You should be keep in mind. So in the womb the blood can directly enter right atrium to the left atrium with the help of the foramen ovale, and in the womb the blood can enter the wall of the lungs, but the lungs cannot be workable. After birth only the child can take the first breath, but in the womb the child only breath with the help of the mother blood only. It can take the oxygen, it cannot be breath, but the first breath or respiration it begins, our lungs can start to work after the child can outside the body.